This is a brand new, unchalked, unplayed, Wrapless Ed Prewitt custom cue. For those of you that do not have a Prewitt in your collection, I will humbly tell you as a collector that you absolutely must have an Ed Prewitt for any collection of fine cues. Now, besides the collectability, the desirability, above all, Ed's cues have always been known for, of course, their playability. The other thing about an Ed Prewitt cue, Ed comes from a long, extensive career as a machinist, and that is one of the key attributes of how he is now regarded as one of the best and most masterful craftsmen among the cue makers. It's a common denominator. Some of the best cue makers, not all of them, but many of the best cue makers start off as machinists. So everything is done tip top. Everything is done systematically. Everything lines up. Even for instance, before I get into the premium wood that you can see, man, that handle is just outrageous. That is Central American Cocobolo. It's real, very highly figured along with the rest of the wood. But just to give you an idea, both of the maple shafts, and he only uses premium wood. Ed is very picky about his shaft wood. Both shafts are exactly 3.8 ounce, right on the button. Both of the shafts are exactly 13 millimeter. And Ed notably has one of the best tapers. I love his taper. Other cue makers have actually implemented what they call the Ed Prewitt taper. It is a longer taper. It just feels really good. So when you measure at 13 millimeter right there below the ferrule or the tip, it doesn't feel quite as thick as a lot of 13 millimeters do. Okay, so what this is, again, it's brand new. It is a big 3/8 10 underneath this matching joint cap that's got the EP. Ed is the cue maker that shares the same initials as me. Although we're not related, I do love his cues. If you start with one of the shafts, this cue is considered to be what he calls his 5 ringer. So you've got 1 ring, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, so before I even get into the wood, for those of you that are not all the way familiar with Ed's work, take a look in the middle here. Many other cue makers have implemented, let's put it that way. Some people would say copied, some people would say stolen. Other people utilize Ed's famous rings, okay? And I know cue makers for a fact that have gotten permission from Ed. For instance, our friend Ariel Carmelli does a similar ring. They're very good friends, and he's got Ed's permission to use these, okay? But I believe Ed is the first to implement them. I could be wrong about that, but these are spectacular, okay? So a lot of people will wonder, how come one cue costs this much? How come another cue costs that much? Well, number one, Ed Prewitt has around a 7 to 8 year wait. Now, we are an official dealer of his cues. We have long-standing orders, and we're fortunate enough to get our hands on these. They don't come real often, but when we get them, they definitely sell fast. Okay, so that's one of the reasons. The other reason, as I mentioned earlier, you're buying a cue that is made by notably one of the most sought-after, most collectible, and regarded as one of the all-time best cue makers. Okay, so back to these rings. Those are Paua shell. Each of those is an individual dot. Look at how they look under the light. Love them, love them, love them. I've got them in some of my other cues. Okay, that is also known as New Zealand abalone or abalone, okay? Those are each an individual inlay. Think of how in-depth and how intricate the work actually is. And they are set into double silver trim on each side, okay? The forearm of the cue or the front of the cue is highly figured Birdseye Maple. This stuff plays great. That's why Ed uses it. But how about the slick handle? The other thing is that you don't see as many Wrapless Ed Prewitts. People, in fact, have been asking me, when are you getting more? When are you getting more? Well, here you go. This is some ridiculously good Cocobolo. You can see how it's got black, it's got orange, it's got red. Look at that. It is just ridiculous. And it goes super good with the way that he stained the Birdseye. Okay, so again, this is highly figured stained Birdseye that really, really goes well with the orange tones and the kind of orangish red and the black of the handle. And then if you look at the bottom, look how large those rings are right there. Okay, I'm going to give it a spin for you. And again, as beautiful as I'm exemplifying that this cue is, the pictures in the video don't do it any justice. And don't think that just because it's beautiful that it's not going to play. These are really good players. In fact, I'm going to go mid-wrap right here, a couple fingers above. There's your balance point. So it is forward balanced. That's an Elforyn joint. It's a flat face joint underneath there with a 3/8 pin, 3/8 10 pin, I'm sorry. And then that's an Elforyn butt cap with that EP logo on it as well. So again, both shafts 3.8, 13 millimeter. They do have the caps on them along with the matching cap that goes with the butt, 15.3 ounces on the butt. Whenever we get one of these in, it is normally gone with the wind. Look, I'm going to spin that again. I'm really thrilled with his ring work, as you can tell, and nobody does it quite like Ed does. So if you don't have a Prewitt in your collection, this is your opportunity to skip the extremely long wait and pick one up unchalked, unplayed. We've got financing options available. This is a 58-inch cue, by the way. So standard size cue, 15.3 on the butt, 3.8 on the shafts, ready for immediate shipping and delivery. You can contact us through the website, crossroadcues.com, or you can call or text the number on the post. How about that handle? We like to call it a slick handle. Drop some comments in there. Let's see some pictures of your favorite Ed Prewitt cues. But tell me, don't you think that that handle and the forearm and butt sleeve really, really, really complement each other well? A fine job done by one of the best in the world, Mr. Ed Prewitt from California at crossroadcues.com.